Well, we got a Honda in here. Customer complaint. Limp mode. Don't know what year yet. Guess it'd be about 2015, 2016. Don't know what model. We're gonna pull codes, look into the problem. More likely engine or tranny related. Being in limp mode. Once we get the data link figured out. There we go. Alright. Get in accessory mode. There we go. I'm going to use the Maximus 4.0 on this one. I'm trying to get more familiar with the tool because it seems like a solid tool compared to the 3.0. 3.0, I was kind of disappointed in the 3.0. But this one seems fairly solid. I'd rank it right up there with the Zeus. Updating VCI. You can see done did that fairly quick. Now we'll read the VIN. I've been off work for roughly a month. Had a bout with COVID and then had heart issues. So it wasn't pretty. 2012 Sonata. We'll pull codes. All codes. 16 pin. Auto search. US. 2.0. Yep, same thing. We'll do a health report. ECM has one code in it. More likely our culprit. Nothing in the TCM. So more likely that's our culprit. The code that's set in the ECM. That's putting the car in a limp mode. Being in limp mode, would expect maybe a throttle or something of that nature. Turbocharger boost control position sensor, voltage high. Makes me suspect possibly a ground issue or a sensor issue. We'll go in and see if we got any freeze frame. No freeze frame data. There it is. Must be a pending code. So we do have no freeze frame either. No data. So this is on the turbo position. Turbo boost control position sensor circuit. Let me go into MaxiFix. I want to read up a little bit on this code. See what kind of information we got. Is it a waste door issue? That sensor itself. Boost. Hope you guys are actually seeing this. Turbocharger control by ECU is being applied recently. ECU calculates the optimized fuel ratio by measuring the accurate air mass from the turbo. The boost pressure from the intake manifold reaches target pressure value. ECU makes a part of the exhaust gas bypass. Concentrated mixed gas makes it much higher horsepower and explosion cycle. Yeah. Okay. This is some pretty decent data. Can we get a bigger view of that? Doesn't look like it. I don't get. There's a testing condition, possible cause, check EWGA wiring. Wastegate sensor, that's what I was thinking, is higher than 4.9. Telling me circuit's high. Alright, let's go back and look at that voltage on that wastegate. See if we can see what it says. Since everything's water pump related. Boost sensor is 4.9 turbocharger or boost pressure. Now that's in PSI. Wastegate position is 2. Wastegate position set point 0. Huh. Don't get voltage on it. I'd like to see the voltage. No, it does not. Let's start it and see if our voltage changes or percentage changes. It should not under a load. Should be anything going on. Should be holding somewhat around that value, I would suspect. I'll pop the head, at least do a visual on harness. I mean, if I got high voltage there, I'd be questioning ground or possibly short deposit. Can't see that voltage being more than 5 volts. We'll run through Mitchell. Wastegate positions at 100%. That's strange. Wastegate position set point. Well, it's asking for 100%. So right now, I'm not getting anything in from there that I want. Let's go back and look at some of our information here. .2 to 1.2, and being I can't see a value, if it's 4.2 it's closed. Being I can't see the voltage, I only get a percentage. And boost pressure the same. See if we got a voltage in here. TPS. I'm going to look at our reference voltage to make sure none of them are off. So we're getting 555 is what I expected, but I'm not seeing voltage. Voltage value for boost pressure actuator position 1.2. Alright. Specifications, supply voltage range 10 to 16, 8 volts. Mechanical stop 4.8. Mechanical stop 0.5. Control zone closed open. But I'm not getting voltage. It's not an available option, at least on this tool. I don't know what type of motor this is, a V6 or 4-cylinder, whether mag turbo is accessible or not. And I think it's a 4-banger, so we ought to be able to at least get to see it, get a glimpse of the components around the wastegate, see if we see a actual position sensor. There's my throttle body. Let's see, going into the intercooler. Where's the turbo? Back here. Where's the turbo? Where's the wastegate rod? Doesn't look to be a sensor on the turbo. That had to be the sensor there. Can't really look at the harness, unfortunately. There it is. Yeah. Don't see any visible damage. See some oil around what's probably a VVT or a cam sensor. Component harness. loose into the big harness, and I don't see any damage in between it. But it looks like the sensor is accessible to do any kind of testing I can do on it. And not the Mac 040 gives me any input. We're gonna clear this wastegate. Oops. Search. And that's water. I typed in water gate. Not wastegate. See what it gives me. Component locations, procedures. Let's go to procedures. Not getting much on it. So we'll have to jump on Mitchell, scan the car, tag, and get more information. But we can see the harness. We should be able to test this sensor, make sure our voltage output is inside 4.8, 5 volts. Any higher than that, we know we probably got a problem. See what the voltage coming in at. Say it's coming in at 12 volts, which I don't expect it to be. It looked like a 5-wire sensor though. This is kind of strange. I'll get a good look at it in the component test if any's available on Mitchell. Don't see anything available on the Maximus program that they run, which I've been using it. It's not that bad, you know. But I haven't been able to run through it enough to see if I see the component locations, to see the relearns, but I do not see an actual component test available, something of that nature, like what you see on Mitchell's info. I just ran waste position sensor, try testing, and see what we get. Same things I got before, I believe. Component locations, labor, procedures. I got 31. Component service, fuel injection, component relearn, component replacement and adjustment, water temp, wheel speed, tire pressure, see diagnostic and testing, ignition system diagnostic and testing, anti-lock brake. I don't see anything. Fuel pump. See if it pulls anything up for a diagnostic test on a position sensor. Got 35 results. Nope, I don't see anything on wastegate. Alright, so we'll get on Mitchell. Put in tag and mileage and get on Mitchell. And do a little research on testing this component and verify its voltages, its grounds, its inputs. Because this is what's set with the desk, a little bit of mess. I haven't been here in quite a while. Been off 4 weeks. Well, here we are. This is not only a sensor, from what I'm reading, it is an actuator. It's electronically controlled. It's not vacuum or anything like that. It's electronic. I don't know if we have a bi-directional control to do a test on this, action of this actuator while the engine is off. I suspect there may be available on maybe the Honda tool, but I don't even have the voltage for that sensor only position. And here's what it shows. Same things I was seeing on the Maximus Maxi Fix, but a little better detail on Mitchell. This is the voltage wastegate position right here. The only one I got available is wastegate position and a percentage, and wastegate position set point. And I don't see voltage on the Maximus. I'll connect the snap-on to it, but I pretty much suspect the same thing. I've got a wiring layout, sensor, 2 PCM, but I gotta look up and make sure I'm not missing. It's a EWGA and maybe labeled different than the wastegate. What is it labeled in this snap screenshot? Voltage EWGA. So let's go take a quick look and see if the Maximus has that voltage present while the car is still running, while I'm doing some research. Because I was looking up wastegate, we want EWGA. Let's go back to data stream and see if it's present. And I do not see it. EVAP, ETC motor for electronic throttle. No EWGA is present, unfortunately. So we're going to hook up the snap-on, because I'd like to view that voltage before I bother to go into anything else. Would be nice. So we're just going to exit. And grab the snap-on and switch out real quick and see if the snap-on gives me a voltage on that. I suspect it's not going through either, so I'm gonna have to break out the scope and do some measuring. Unfortunately, it'd be nice if I could actually just get that data, but we don't always get what we want, as we all know, especially when it comes to data inputs from a scan tool. I mean, I expected to see it on the, actually see it on the Maximus, but it was not present. Let the snap-on, scan it, find it, see how quick it does it. I'll walk and take my time and see if it starts finding it. It's already found it. That was pretty fast, actually, right after startup. We're going straight to engine and go to data, see if it has a group for turbo by itself. Hopefully you guys are seeing this well. Alright, EWGA. Take care. Nope, it throws them all at you at once. We got a lot of data groups. Trying to see, we'll go into custom. Alright, deselect all. Water temp. Cruise control, battery. Calculate oil temp, actual lambda. We're looking for our wastegate. I haven't noticed it yet. I do not see it. I don't even see a position on this one. This looks like it's got a large data group too. This is a 2012. I would expect more from Snap-on, so I may have to do a little bit of searching. I may find a test the component test or even functional test that will give me voltages and everything while I'm doing the test. You gotta watch out for Snap-on doing that. Sometimes you'll find a data you don't see for a component and in other areas. So cancel, exit. I'm gonna go to functional test and then try off test because I expect it to be there. We're not going to do any testing at this time. We just want to see what's present. Fan motor, fan, gang relay, canister purge, intake valve, ignition fuel, fuel wastegate valve, turbo only. I'm going to shut the engine off, put it in accessory mode, and I want to see voltages there. Then I'm also going to walk over and watch the arm if it gives me control of that component. We'll watch the arm and see if we're actually moving it, because the computer is commanding a certain state, and if it doesn't see it, and I think voltage closed was high. I'll have to go back and look at that. I may be wrong there, and it's saying high voltage, but if the computer is commanding the state and it's not getting it because we have an actuator that's failed, we may set this code too. I mean, I didn't want you to start and I wasn't on the brake pedal. Are you gonna stay on good enough? Let's see if we can run this test. So it was available in functional test. And what I suspect, we may get some actual, those data parameters that I wanted to view may be present here on the Snap-on. Let's find out. Ammo. There we go. That's the same data I've seen, so I know it's not going to be present. That is rough. Yep, didn't give it to me. So I'm not going to see this data. I had more data on the turbo. I mean, the wiring diagram pulled up, it says, shows me it is a sensor 2, sending input back to the ECM, being controlled by a relay, and of course the ECM is controlling that relay. But I don't even see wastegate percentage in this one. Kind of bogus, but I do got a bi-directional test. No, it's not there. They don't even have the wastegate position. That's bogus. I mean, usually when you do these tests, you'll see it right at the top too. I mean, when they set it up, it'll be up at the top. And nothing there. And I've walked all the way through them all, and I don't even have the wastegate percentage. The set point or desired is how I interpret that. What the computer wants, it's not present, and clearly there's no voltage present. We're going to run over here and run this test and watch that arm and see if we get any kind of movement out of it. I expect to be some. Snap-on didn't give me much of a description on that test itself, but I want to know. Yeah. So the actuator is obviously working and it's pulsating, as you can see down there. So our actuator is good, but without that voltage and the data pin, does me not much good. So now I have to try to tie into the harness, measure voltage. I know I can run this test and look at that voltage then. And because they're setting a code because it doesn't like that voltage at high point. And we are moving, so we know the linkage is not sieged, The actuator has control of the arm. It's able to move. Our linkage is still connected. So it looks like we either got a voltage issue of some kind from an input or an output, or the sensor has failed and is not changing as the computer commands it. The computer is able to command it, but the computer doesn't know it because it sees a constant fixed voltage is what I'm suspecting. Could be a ground issue where that voltage is staying high, because I believe we've seen on that wiring diagram grounds were present for the sensor and voltage. So we got a little testing to do. We know the actuator itself is actually functioning, but the sensor may not, or we may have no voltage for the sensor, a reference voltage. Well, it's high voltage, so we have. Then again, if sometimes we don't have voltage, we'll see that substitute value. It'll show the 5 volts and it ain't changing. Some weird stuff sometimes, as everybody knows. Alright, so I got some more testing to do. I'm not going to record all the testing. I tried to describe to you what I'm going to be doing because of the location of this sensor is kind of aggravating. It's down there, and there's real no clear shot at it. I can gain a little bit of room with this off, but not much. Yeah, now we can see the sensor a little better. That is, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 wires coming in. You know, 2 control the motor, the other 3 are sensor inputs, reference, ground, you know, your actual signal. Let me see if we show a component test on Mitchell. I don't think I've seen it in the Snap-on. Let's go back and look. Go home. Let's see if we have available. This is a SE, I believe. Not sure about that one. 8th bin. What is the 8th bin on this thing? See if we can spot it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a B. I don't think I've seen a B on it. We know that labels the turbo model. Yep. Yes. Engine. Wastegate valve. Component information. There's everything I'm looking at. Alright, back. We get a resistance test is all it gives us. Now what would that resistance test be on? It's 1 and 3. That's the motor itself. Sensor's ground, PCM reference, sensor signal. So like I said, it's similar to a throttle, I mean a electronic throttle control, electronic throttle control. We have motor being controlled and the sensor sending back input, and we're supposed to be 5 volts at that reference. So we're basically going to be testing the sensor while controlling it with the scan tool and seeing what the sensor does. I mean, it looks like the actual actuator itself is working. I just want to see those voltages, to see close and open, to know it's sending good input or bad input, possibly why we're setting this code and going into Limp mode, because that sensor is not functioning or not correct. So we'll get off here, come back with more input. Alright, we got the scope set up. We're on yellow for signal, the red is for sensor ground, no, the red's for reference voltage, I'm sorry, it's on the white wire, and the green is sensor ground on the black wire. We're seeing 1.2 volts, which I believe it stated was closed throttle at the time. Let's check, look, still should be open. We got that code. We'll look it up here in a second. Let's see what the code was. A PO256 P2565. P2565, yes. Alright. Gives me a decent. See, close, open is 1.2. Close is 4.2. So what we're going to do now is shut the vehicle off, take control of it with the snappy, and watch the voltage response as this thing moves. And see what it does. Right now we're in open position. Alright. Oh. And we'll go to functional test and see what snappy shows as it activates that valve. We've seen it actually moves, so we do know that. We're going to watch. So we're clearly moving, but my ground acts a little crazy. I'm seeing voltage on the ground. Let's get a quick record. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm not on the ground, obviously. I'm on motor, is what that looks like. There's two black wires down there. Yeah, that's definitely a motor control. So I'm on the wrong black wire. So don't have to worry about that one. We'll run the check again, but we see it's moving. We see the sensor is doing its job. The voltage is changing on the component. Let me see if I can get on that other black wire. It's gonna be a bit challenging because I had a hard time with that one before. There were two black wires. One's supposed to be brown, but it's dirty, I guess. It looks black. And that's with control for motor. So obviously I'm on motor control there. This is the other black one. Is the one I want to be on. It's gonna be a little trouble, I see. Yeah. Switch sides. So I can get in there. I don't think I'm on it yet. Should be now. Let's check our meter. See if we have contact. Yes. No, we're not getting the contact. Don't lock the scan tool off, Doug. A little warmer in there, folks. Hands are getting a bit smoked. See if I can move the scan tool and get over here, get in a position to do something. We're end up breaking something. Yeah, I'm past it. I'm still missing it. Did we get it? Yes, we got it now. Alright. Let's go back to the change. Yeah, now our ground's not moving. So right now the actuator is actually working. Signal is changing from 4 back to 1.7. So I'm not seeing anything that I don't like. So the question is this actuator messing up after it gets hot? We'll let it run a little bit and get warm and see if something happens. Sounds like it's moving fine. So we'll stop it. Sounds like it's moving fine to me. Not here seeing any issue. My reference voltage is staying right at 4.9, and I'm hitting 4.7 down to about 1.5. Now I'm gonna take the Zeus off. And I'm gonna hook up ATS to it. I want to see if ATS actually gives me that data. Since neither one of the other scan tools did, I'm curious if maybe ATS does. No bi-directional on the ATS scan tool, but its data seems to be pretty damn good. We're going to go with it before we clear this code out. Recommendation is clear the code, see if this is a reoccurring symptom, and then order in the actuator. See what data ATS actually gives us. Man, we did not see that data parameter on the snap-on device or the Mako. Neither one of them presented it to us. What you think would be between those two? One of them would have had it, but unluckily neither did. So I'm gonna go into ATS. This E-scan. I'm on. Here we go, I think it opened finally. Yep, she opened. Let it pull codes and give us what we can off of it. Once it sees the car, and the first thing we're going to do is actually Hyundai, not Honda. We're going to go to DTCs. Turbocharger probable cause, wiring short to possible. TC boost position sensor. Here's the data parameters it pulls up for me right off the bat in this. Do not see it. Let's see PID's list. See what they offer. Do not see it. No, it's not present in it either. But what I'm seeing now, the boost sensor, I mean the actuator is functioning. When I look at the wiring diagram, I do not even see a boost sensor, so I'm assuming it's using the map sensor. must be what it's doing to detect the boost, because I do not see a boost sensor listed in the wiring diagram. I do not see one on the tubing either, so I do not believe it actually has one. Must be using map and making a calculation of some rhythm of what the boost actually is. Don't see a PID for it in the snap-on, don't see a PID in the Maximus, and the wiring diagram I do not see a separate boost sensor. This is the valve, I think bypass valve, yeah, that's the bypass valve. Up there is our actuator for the wastegate, and there is no boost pressure sensor on the vehicle, so that's my only determination, that it's got to be using map to calculate boost by the changes in the intake vacuum and whatnot. But I suspect we have a failing actuator, probably some type of gets hot, then the motor fails. So I'm gonna recommend clear code, reoccurring event, go ahead and replace that actuator. But I do not see any problem while I'm testing it. It is passing. Yeah, we don't see a boost sensor on this vehicle anywhere. Strange, but I believe I've read about it before, using map sensor to calculate boost. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Being that this actuator is actually functioning now, I'm gonna basically discuss with customer to order one, have ready. It's not that pricey. I think it was like $60–70. Got to call dealer, have one ready, and if it ends up being a reoccurring event, we'll change it out. But as of now, the actuator is actually functioning like it's supposed to. The sensor determining position is functioning like it's supposed to. When I was looking at map, I didn't see any problems with it. It looked fine, so it's not a boost sensor, because it doesn't have one, and it's got to be calculating boost through the map sensor. You know, I didn't see anything in the info, but I know this doesn't have a boost sensor. Where's the snap-on at? I don't think it gives me a component test for boost sensor either. We'll take a quick look, but I don't believe it does. Yeah, let's see if it gives us any input on that map being part of the boost system. Here we go. Does not give me any determination. Let's turbo wastegate, see if we get any information out of here. Boost pressure is reduced. I do not see a boost sensor. I checked the wiring diagram, component test. I do not see a boost sensor, and I don't see any information determining what I suspect that's what it is. Recirculation valve is a vacuum component. Yeah, and that's the one we see on the hose over there. That's the solenoid, not the valve itself. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Not a solve, but our problem isn't actually present at this time. We'll clear the code from here, see if it actually returns. We'll do a start, monitor fuel, no pending codes, the code did clear. We'll do a start, then we'll button this thing up and put a little black liquid tape on the pierce that I'd made.